Hey everyone.
Hey, what's happening? Wow, 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 wow. I mean, I'm still trying to get it together, but good to see everybody. Button up my shirt like I belong here. All right. Yes, yes. Good to see everyone.
So, as usual, we started out with some questions, and maybe by the questions, you might have some idea of what we might be talking about. Those of you that were able to watch our worship service yesterday might have even a better idea of what we will be talking about today. But I have to say that the topic for today is one that is near and dear to everyone, particularly if you think back to your childhood, maybe for most of you. And I have to say that when I first started getting to know you and and your connection to health and your studies about health, one of the things, thank you. One of the things that you said that like, and I have to tell you guys, it totally like, I was like, what kind of health advice is this? Okay, I'm just be honest. I'm gonna be real. I'm being real. I'm being transparent. So I got to tell you which one it was. So I overheard you. They talking about your hat. so so I overheard you.
We just walked in the door, so I'm just trying to. We dropped the boys off, right? Long drive back, and that's why some of you got the Instagram post and not this post because I was in the car just really trying to alert people. So we just walked in the door and that's my little softball hat in case I was, some people were trying to get me to come do some batting practice there. I knew I wasn't going to be back in time. We came to talk about health. So it'll come off in due time.
Yes. So I've totally lost what I was
Yes,
talking
yeah,
about.
you said I shocked you with some strange.
Oh yes. So what I overheard you telling somebody that they were describing, and I don't remember what the health issue was. And I heard you say to them, okay, this is what Anthony said. He said, go outside, preferably in the morning or at night, take your shoes off and rub your feet on some grass. Okay, this is what you said. And I kind of looked at you sideways from afar, and I thought to myself, now, I mean, that's something that I remember doing when I was a child, but I was outside playing. I wasn't necessarily, it wasn't something that that I heard my parents tell me, Mom, I'm sick. Yeah, just go outside and rub your feet on some grass. So, with that being said, that's part of what we're going to be talking about today.
Man, the whole body is set. I'm trying to work on almost next week's sermon. I'm not sure if I'm going to go this route, but anyway, the body is very, very important about the various parts of the body. So the eye can't tell the foot we don't need you. And here's where I'm going with this one. The foot is the entryway to electrons and electricity and what they call negative ions. I'll leave that up to the scientists to actually come from the rubbing of the earth through the body and set it in course. So as I was doing all these studies, I was like, man, go outside to stimulate your colon early in the morning when the dew is still on how's that song go? While the dew's something,
like the dew in the
like
morning.
the dew in the morning. Gently rest upon my heart,
yes.
Right? So that's the song. So anyway, you go outside and you take your foot, both of them, you rub them like really like kind of look like almost like an animal, but you're rubbing it and you're rubbing like you're going to do it 20 times on each foot. And what you'll feel is all of this energy in your foot start tingling and you'll start coming up through and it gets your colon moving and all that kind of stuff. So that's what I was doing to all the people that asked me questions about that if you were on one of my colonic I don't know, customers, residents, whatever they call them, patients. I don't believe I'm a doctor, nor the son of a doctor.
That's right. That's a disclaimer. We're not doctors.
So all I'm trying to say is it worked. And here it is that in a lot of other natural health thing, they have people that walk on what? Hot rocks.
Mhm.
They tell you if you really want to get your knees together, your hamstrings together, when I
Mhm.
used to get the injuries there, that you go to the beach and what? Run in the sand.
Sand.
All right. Barefoot. All of that was things that they would just tell you, but you didn't really know, make the connection to balancing out the body. So uh, after watching those couple of texts
Mhm.
on uncovering your feet,
Mhm.
sermon idea came, and then the health benefits of walking barefoot sort of came out. And I know, you know, people been barefoot and pregnant, people been down south barefoot. May not always been grass, but that's how we were in our country days, and
Right.
those were great benefits. To be able, what they made fun of is to be barefoot, maybe pregnant, but especially barefoot and eating a watermelon. They tried to shame us
Mm.
that was just low down,
Mm.
uncouth kinds of
Mm.
people. But the reverse of that was
Mhm.
that's exactly what God was doing for us to give us the strength to be able to work in those fields all day long. They didn't know that since they didn't give us water, we were out there eating the watermelon and getting our refreshments,
Mm.
staying hydrated. They couldn't understand how we were lasting all that time. But here's the answer right here. And so more, less is more.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
So, and and really the question is not only for you, but for those of you that are watching, and you can put your answer in the chat. Do you remember when you were young? Do you remember walking outside or
Man,
playing outside barefoot?
especially if the dirt was like really, really had some black stuff in it, the minerals and stuff. So you play whatever grass we had in Compton, the cement jungle, but we had my dad had a little, patch in the back, but we had a lot of dirt. And so my brothers and I will go out there and rub our feet and kind of not knowing that there was anything connected to health, but just trying to be connected. And of course, going to the beach a lot, we were able to do that. But again, I grew. It's not a good growth, but I got the feeling of protection of your feet.
Mhm.
I remember swimming in the ocean one time. Pascal's, Whitson's, all kind of people were out there. I believe it was Long Beach, but I was in the ocean. I stepped on some glass, cut my foot real open. That ended my fun for the day. I was still a young person. So, water shoes, minimum
Right.
shoes. I'm kind of like, okay,
Right.
okay. If I see your mother go to the water and take off her shoes and socks, I'm a little jellyfish. So we got fearful into going back to the basics. And that's what we want to encourage you today, that hot fun in the summertime.
That's right. I mean,
Take the shoes off.
I can remember growing up. I was well, I don't want to say always, but more times than not, I was outside, running around barefoot. Now, it is interesting that you talk about the things that can happen, like your experience about getting cut. For me, I grew up in the country. We were in an acre of land, but so I had a lot of grass to run.
I've seen that place.
However, there were things that you needed to watch out for. And for me, it was we used to have stickers, a whole bunch of stickers.
Yes.
And it took for me to, I don't know, I was running and that sharp pain and just a whole bunch of stickers underneath my feet, and then trying to pull them out of my feet. That was horrible. But I will have to say what that did for me is it just kind of taught me, okay, well, I can't run in that area. I mostly chose dirt, because at least in the dirt, I knew that, now, of course, my mom,
yes, it was always
she wouldn't be too happy
strange on the other side.
Yeah, she wouldn't be too happy about me, running inside. She'd be like, wait, wash your feet,
So that's what we want to say to the sophisticated parents of the day.
Yes.
Don't be tripping when your kids are out there playing in the mud and putting their feet down. They're really going back to what God made us to do.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
He didn't make us without.
And you're right. I mean, maybe if you can think of your children,
Mhm.
as they were growing up. I know mine, my youngest, I remember from a child, even from a baby, trying to put socks and then finally when they can wear shoes, he would always kick it off, kick it off,
Yeah.
kick it off, kick it off. So
Yeah.
you're right in
Yeah.
terms of when that thing is already like in us.
Yes.
And it's about connecting to, I guess, in a way, to your inner child, if it is how
Mm,
you grew
mm,
up. But I loved what you were saying in terms of how it's all connected. And I know in science and teaching from biology that unfortunately westernized science,
mm,
health, tends to compartmentalize
mm,
everything,
mm. Yeah.
where the reality is, and even though we're Christian, this might sound new age, but really the reality is that all parts of our bodies are connected, and therefore, and you spoke about colonics
Mhm.
and reflexology and things like that. All parts of our body are connected. The nerves run
Mm.
everywhere. So reflexology is not really just this new age thing.
Yeah, it's not mystical.
It's not mystical, because as you study the body, as I've studied in biology, the nerves run. You've got nerve endings from your feet that run to specific parts of your organs in your body, which is why, but that's how we're wired.
All right.
That's how we're able to feel and react to
Yeah.
things.
Pressing that big toe relieved headaches. Just interesting things we would do. But I was going to say this: when you go on to the last doctor, the old days,
Yes.
when you went in for a physical, and the doctor would have this little hammer-like little tool, and you kind of tap your knee to see if the reflex, tap and see if
Yes.
that knee
Yeah.
would kick out.
Yeah.
Hopefully you kicked him, but some people are just kind of like, uh-oh, we're getting into trouble. All right. So then what's the thing he would do next? He'd take the end of that thing, right? Lift up your foot and scrape it. Just rub it like that, because he's really trying to see your reaction, see if your toes move, trying to see your reaction time. That's what they were all testing for that. Whenever there's people with diabetes and they have inflammation
Yes.
around the legs and the ankles, and they can't feel their feet, it's a danger. That's why the pain was good that you might have felt with the stickers, because the feet alert
Right.
everything.
Yes.
So you got to be able to know. So
Yes.
if you're walking around, you got diabetes, they don't want you. That's why they give you a special shoe, because you cannot feel the nerve endings.
That's right.
You'll cut yourself, and without feeling that pain, without feeling that, the body can't send
Right.
the paramedics to the place, and therefore you get gangrene, and it's horrible. Now they got to cut it off. So the feet are very, very crucial to helping us understand the balance to the whole body.
Right,
And that's why
right.
God said,
Yeah.
don't, the eye can't tell the foot.
Right.
We don't need you.
Right. That's right. And so it's important to understand, and I think this is something, of course this comes, although the world is watching, but this definitely comes from the perspective of Christians,
Pamela preaching, boy.
where too often,
Mhm.
the what's it called, the Eastern medicine is connected to mysticism. And the reality is that while some of that might be true, we cannot throw away the core principles of of what the Creator has created in our bodies and in what He created in the earth. So it's a synergistic thing. We were, the earth was first created and then we were created. And so, to think that God didn't have that all planned out, and that He didn't, and that maybe He didn't already know that the same minerals of the earth would be the ones that make us up, which, of course, those of us that, read the Bible, it talks about that man was formed from the clay of the earth. So really, it's all connected.
Yes.
It's all connected.
It's all connected. All connected. Somebody asked me, was I still doing colonics? Help me, Holy Ghost. No. But I was in training to do that. There's a lot of anatomy courses you need. I was in training. Someone is usually on the line, Berta. We were being mentored together. In fact, that lady, black lady, is still calling me because she now is struggling with some in her 80s. She sold the business to another friend of ours. And then she's struggling now with her last days of cancer. So whenever I get to the Riverside area, I'm gonna go visit her. She wants me to pray over her. She actually wants me to look after her estate to be able to make sure it gets divvied out. That's how close she was to us. She was not a church woman per se, but she was one that really opened up her mind to that. So here's what the deal was. The person that asked that question, people were really tripping on whether or not, especially the ladies, men, you could understand the men, because you have to have the tube insert up your rectum, and you got to kind of be in these crazy positions with a towel covered up. You know how that is. So not all the saints were happy with the pastor, the shepherd, seeing all of the blessings of God upon them, and we tried to keep them covered up as much as possible. So those were some of the things. But even today, I could still say Happy Sabbath to people that I know I've done work on, and they would never know. Nobody would ever know. So part of it was that. And since in the Bay Area, I have asked for places that do colonics. Some and Juana was her name in Riverside, and she's given me places to be able to go and be able to see if we can connect and reconnect. But I if y'all want to know about Beyonce and how they keep their shapes and whatever, I don't know, J-Lo, I believe she probably does too. But these people, without telling y'all, go to colonics and get that inner colon clean. And so that's how they're able to keep their shapes and their figures, as well as changing their diets to some of the earth-based things. But they probably do practice some barefoot kinds of meditative things. So
yes.
It's always excellent.
Yes. So understanding first and foremost that health is holistic.
Yes.
And you have some videos to further
take a look at this.
Talk about what are the benefits of barefoot walking, or just, so it's not, just so that you guys won't think that, okay, we're strange and who does that. There actually is a lot of research out there for that. So we're gonna go ahead and share with you one of the, I think it's 2 videos that we're going to share.
They're not that long.
So
they're not like my church videos.
So please enjoy while we mute.
Yes.
Hey guys, this is Coach KP, and in today's video, I'm not sharing anything new with you. I'm just going to remind you that we all are currently in possession of a tool that allows us to live a stress-free and a healthier life. And this is something we already have, but none of us really do on a regular basis. So I'm here to remind you the benefits of barefoot walking. Okay, so you can Google and look up all the scientific studies that have been done about barefoot walking in the recent, in the last 10 years, and most of these studies will tell you that barefoot walking releases stress, and it helps us stay grounded and get better sleep. And in a couple of studies, it has shown to reduce the chances of cancer. Okay, so what happens when we start walking barefoot then is we start experiencing this connection with the earth. And also, as a reminder, walking barefoot has been going on for a large period of our existence as human beings, okay? That's something we're wired to do. So when we walk with shoes on, with this extra set of layers, so to speak, we are not experiencing earth the way we are meant to experience it. So a lot of people that have anxiety, that keep thinking too much, it essentially is because we are not grounded, and walking barefoot is great for anxiety. So sleep better, have less anxiety, and possibly prevent some of these unnatural diseases from coming into our lives, walking barefoot is essential. And that's the reminder for today. This is Coach KP. Peace.
All right, and we're going to share the second video.
Walking barefoot on grass has its shares of benefits, especially when it's done early in the morning. When we walk barefoot, our skin comes in contact with the earth directly, and the negative ions present in the earth can help balance the positive ions in our body, creating a balance that improves our health in many ways. Walking barefoot on grass is an easy and all-natural way to bring down swelling and inflammation caused by injuries. The practice stimulates an immediate catharsis to reduce overall pain levels by reducing the inflammation and thereby allowing oxygenated blood to flow more freely and efficiently through the body. If you have trouble sleeping or have disturbed sleep during the night, then you must surely start walking barefoot on grass. It is believed that walking barefoot on the grass can cure insomnia. Physical contact with the earth's surface helps reduce the levels of the stress hormone in the body and helps a person get sound sleep. The reduced stress levels can also help in getting the blood pressure under control. There are pressure points on our feet which are believed to be connected to the nerves of our eye. Walking barefoot in the morning on grass can stimulate this pressure point and help improve the overall eyesight. This practice also stimulates specific acupuncture points of the foot, and this in turn helps stimulating our nerves and veins, thereby improving our nervous system. Pains caused by varicose veins, especially among diabetic patients, can be reduced.
All right. So hopefully some of the information that we shared is very helpful. These videos pretty much touched on some of the things that we already mentioned. It has so many benefits. And again, those benefits come from the fact that all parts of our body are connected from our head all the way down to our toes.
And all are blessed by the plants of the earth.
That's right.
So we'll have any questions about that if you want, or we'll
yes,
right
in the
yes.
oh, no, we're not ready.
Good.
So if you have any questions about any of the videos that we just showed, you can go ahead and ask. One of the things I will say is that it really doesn't hurt to if you haven't gone barefoot in a while, it doesn't hurt to try it. And let's say that you don't have grass around where you live. Then that's even a better excuse to go out, drive out to nature. Here I can only speak to what is here in the Bay Area.
Love this area, man.
But there's the Redwood Regional Park. Any park really that has nice green grass, you can go ahead and go to, and just don't feel shame to take off your shoes and just walk around in it. So really there's no excuse.
And the beach.
Yeah. Oh,
you get
yeah.
a different feel.
Absolutely. The beach, riverbeds.
Yeah.
And it depends on, because we've talked about this before. It depends on your feet, your sole tolerance, right? So if you have not been used to walking around outside, then your feet the bottoms of your feet are probably really, really soft. So they're not tough. And so you're going to be especially sensitive to rocks and things of that nature.
Yeah. By way of testimony, it's been a few years now where I had a hamstring injury trying to go from first to third with blinding speed to try and make third base. And in between second and third, I pulled up, pop, and I kind of hopped all the way to third base, and then I couldn't play anymore for about 6 weeks. I don't know, 4 weeks.
Yeah,
Anyway,
about
so I
6
started
weeks.
reading up. Of course, my hamstring was pulled. It was turning black and blue. We had to ice it a lot, and one of the two things I learned was to walk backwards, help strengthen it, and to walk barefoot, get out of the shoes, and it would help reground it. So whenever we would go walking, especially around the place over there in Hemet, the Ball Diamond Valley, we would go walking up there, and then when we got back to the stretch where we go into the car, we took off the shoes. And of course, your mother just said, you know, me, the jungle, the cement jungle, concrete jungle guy of Compton, feet were very tender. So, you know, her and the boys would be way up there, and I'd be out, carrying my shoes, trying to make it and get the stimulation going. And boy, I was really a city boy, just out there trying to get it together.
Yes.
So I want you to know that you can still press through that, because it's not about a speed race. So one of the videos we were going to show, but I thought it was a little too deep, was where they went and they didn't go deep enough. That's what
right.
we were
That's
saying.
what it was.
Because
yeah.
they wanted to. They had now done some research, and they took all kinds of software and machinery to test the foot strength of the Kenyans who are used to running these long marathons. And they took the ones that ran in the rural areas, and they tested the ones that ran in the urban.
Yeah.
So they wanted to see the difference between that, and that's when it cut off.
Yes. So
We
we didn't get to, you know the full detail of what that research was.
But I can tell you this, that some practice running barefoot and only on the day of the race will they, because a lot of times like Nike sponsor them, and you know, Saucony sponsoring these tennis shoes company, Adidas, this is well-known one. So then they'll only put the shoe on as low as they can get it on the racing day. And that's why you see them run so quickly, because they've been used to barefoot running.
Right.
They run in the tennis shoe.
Right.
After that race is over,
Right.
that tennis shoe's coming right back off, going home with, you know, $100,000, $50,000 bins, taking it back to Kenya or Nigeria, whatever one's winning that year, and they're off to another country or another place to run another marathon, and that's how they keep their finances going. But they do totally barefoot.
Yes. If you see me still looking down, I'm not being rude. I'm trying to cut mangoes while we're talking.
Yes.
But yeah, and you know, I wanted to add to that and I think you might have mentioned this in the sermon yesterday, but indigenous peoples, particularly the Tarahumara, they are known for long distance running.
Yes.
But I mean, they do wear sandals.
Yeah.
But when they're, because and really the wearing of the sandals is because they are running how many miles?
50 to 100.
Yeah, so
in
50
any given
to
race.
50
straight.
Right. So that's a long way, right? And so I could understand the sandals
And the terrain that they have.
and the
They
terrain.
may have a sharp pebble here and a sharp, you know, just a rock that they run on
Right.
up in there.
And maybe we'll share the link with you guys.
That's true.
There is a documentary out there about them. And I know when we were watching it, one of the things that I was impressed to see is that as long as they were local and you know, and they're just walking around locally in their village, they were barefoot. So, you know, and interestingly enough, like I said, we'll have to share that with you guys. You know, their health is one that they don't deal with issues of diabetes or any of the other health things that we normally, you know, deal with here in the Western world. And also, you know, this is, you know, the teacher in me is, you know, try some of this, you know, as a homework assignment. I don't know, however you want to think about
Lady
it.
Mickey says she's gonna try.
Yes, and let us know. Let us know. You know, what was your experience? What were you feeling? You know, of course, you know, this probably goes without saying, but you do want to choose an area that is not, you're not going to injure yourself. So if wherever you decide to walk, you want to make sure that it's clear of debris.
And what we've discovered is up here in the northern area, wherever I play softball, the fields are full of geese. What do they call these big birds that just drop all these
they're
droplets,
dropping.
all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And so even in the field with my shoes on, I'm still trying to, move around. The ball rolls through the, the mess.
Right. So you definitely, want to check that out first. Then if you do decide to, because I love putting my feet in the sand.
Yes.
So if you do decide to do that, just make sure that you decide to take your shoes off in the sand that's closest to the water, because that sand will be the coolest. Don't take off your shoes right when you hit the sand, because the sand can be really hot and it'll burn the bottoms of your feet. So, just little things like that.
And you could do it the opposite way if you're struggling with a cold. Stick your feet in the hot sand because you want to try to make yourself sweat. So both have the medicinal properties, but the best with the minerals is by where she just said, by the
and that it's hot where it doesn't burn your feet.
Yes, you don't want
so so just to make sure that nobody's sticking their hand and they're like, oh, my feet is burning, but Anthony said this is medicinal.
And then you got to go to put some what's that ointment they put on burns?
We don't need you getting first, second, or third degree burns. However, just taking some caution, and this is if you don't have the luxury of having a backyard and being able to do that. It still does not prevent you from trying these things.
You told me a story though of Caleb following some bubbles in the sand, and he got real curious.
Yes.
And he put what happened?
Well, he put his feet, the holes, the little bubble holes after, the water washes away, and, curious. And so he decided he was going to stick his finger where the bubble hole was. And then next thing I know, he was all, my finger. And he's running. So, luckily, it was maybe a small crab, that didn't really do any damage. It more, I think, shocked him than anything. So we thank God for that.
They don't have a lot of, I'm not sure. I think you saw a jellyfish up here. So that, when you get into the water.
It's, and you guys probably know this. I'm learning the ecology here in Northern. But, and I don't know if I don't think it's still low tide, but during low tide season, I'm sure most of you can walk like really far into the bay, and you can really see a lot of sea life. And we saw a jellyfish. We think it was dead. We didn't try to mess with it or anything. But there's the thing about holistic health is, we've talked in episodes before, when we've had Vanessa speak to us about the connection to our food, but it's also just being connected to nature, to God's creation. All of those things are therapeutic. So even for people, and this will have to be a study for another time, but while you're out there and you're barefoot and you're connecting with nature, be present in the moment. Take the time to really take a look at what God has created. But then again, that could just be my jam. That could just be my thing. I'm really into that. But it's amazing to. Every time I'm out there connecting with nature, it does something to your mental capacities as well. And, definitely during this COVID-19 and people being shelter in place, I'm thanking God doesn't necessarily mean that they've shut down, nature. You can still go to regional parks. You can still, take a walk out on the shore. Do these things. It's so important, particularly during this time. It's something that uplifts me. And just really quick, this is only gonna take 30 seconds. The nerd in me was reading an article that actually you brought to my attention in terms of Lake Merritt. Now, yes, Lake Merritt, the mayor has said people don't gather around Lake Merritt. For those of you that live in this area, understand that that's the gathering place. We've been there several times, Juneteenth and things of that nature. But as stinky and dirty as I've seen Lake Merritt, it was amazing to me to find out that it's not a man-made lake. It's a natural lagoon that has a channel that flows in from the Bay Area, and they have found all kinds of things, including like bat rays, which is like a stingray, and all kinds of things. And those are things that, if you just walk around and you don't, you're not really paying attention, you miss those things. But sometimes those things uplift us. So.
And when those other health centers open up, I forget these natural springs that produce their own heat. Those are good for your feet too. They bubble up water from the earth, mineral pools and things like that. Those are really excellent. Those are excellent. There is a procedure, I've forgotten the actual name of, but I know it's an ionic thing. You go to like I've only done it in the chiropractic office where you put your feet in.
Ionic foot bath.
Ionic foot bath. And so as it's bubbling for about 30 minutes, 40 minutes, you see these different color things come to the surface. And they are various metals that we have taken in over the course of our life, over the course of a stretch of life. And they come out and they give you a little chart. So the yellow means, your liver's kind of messed up with some metals, and other one means kidneys, and other one means lungs are releasing. Those are always recommended. Once again, the foot.
Yes.
Drawing it out.
Yes.
Drawing it out.
Yes.
So those are really good things. If you can, set an appointment and go to one of those. Like I said, I don't know what's going on with the COVID-19. They probably don't want, touching our stanky feet, but that's okay.
Yes. But there are other methods.
Right.
I don't know if it's in the health. I don't know if you'd have to go to a health food store, the pharmacy section. I'm trying to remember where I bought these. Definitely online probably, but they have these foot pads that they look like sachets, and they actually have like charcoal and stuff in it.
Those are good.
And you can you can put those on the bottom of your feet, and I think you put socks over so that the pads aren't sliding. And you'd be amazed when you wake up in the morning how dirty that pad looks. And I mean, you're like, oh my gosh, right? But it pretty much kind of does the same thing. It's the charcoal drawing out all the toxins, all the metals. Yes, very good, Michelle. Yes, you can purchase it online and do it at home. Obviously, the wonderful thing is that there are we have online that is able to, have those resources available. It is, we don't realize our feet, how important our feet are. Not only it being connected, but it's also a major source of drawing out, it takes in so much, impurities. But it's also a source of being able to release all of those impurities.
Okay, I want to address something Michelle brought up earlier too, because you might be able to help on this, because like I said, we're not doctors, the children of doctors, the aliens of doctors, but we're here. We know Dr. Jesus, so we're trying to help with something. So look, walking barefoot doesn't cause the arthritis. Okay, so just remember that. However, the arthritis can be revealed by walking barefoot. Right? So I want you to understand that.
Okay.
It's going to come with calcium buildup that gets in the joints and locks you down. All right. So that's really diet related. All right. So if you're going to live on, cow's milk for a long time, and a lot of the light ice cream and the butter and whatever, the more overload you get. Remember, they used to say, milk does a body good or makes you healthy bones. It's the opposite. And that's why I just wanted you to help with. Sometimes the osteoporosis sets in. Now you're starting to feel stiff or whatever. So when you go outside and the weather's a little cool, the bones don't have the same protection, so they stiffen up.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to.
And you're right. I love how you said that's perfect. It is the revealer that you do have arthritis. That's why whenever you've had some type of procedure on your joints,
Right.
or you have arthritis, it's particularly more sensitive in weather changes, and it
Yes.
really has to do with barometric change.
Mhm.
But that barometric change happens like during the storms, definitely during colder weather. Yeah, that's that. Thank you.
So
That's
you'll
really
feel
good.
that.
Yeah.
You'll feel that, but it's not. It didn't cause it. It's just going to reveal it.
Mhm.
What's already been
Mhm.
taking place in
Mhm.
your body, and that's once again the feet are being more sensitive,
Yes.
trying to give you the warning
Yes.
ahead. You can take off your shoes and get any indication
Yes.
of what you might be going through. You just step outside and a little bit, woo,
Yes.
you'll
Yes.
feel that thing.
Yes. And if you haven't checked in the chat, Berta just shared some really good information about her experience when she went to the Sanatorio Naturista in Mexico.
Good point.
Where they had them soak
That's true.
their feet in apple cider vinegar first in hot water for 20 minutes, then another 20 minutes in cold water. So that's that hot cold therapy. And they also had them walk on the grass at 5 a.m. every morning barefoot. So when they talk about sanatoriums and these naturalist places and some of the natural modalities that they do, a lot of times in the past, I think we're coming around to where people are embracing those things again. But in the past, it was made to look as it was quackery. That stuff doesn't really work. But you have to think about how these methods are ancient methods, and they've been working for centuries and centuries.
Yes.
So I'm glad to see stuff coming back around to that. Please pay attention. We always say do your research. We bring you information, but hopefully that
please go back and check.
Yeah, hopefully that encourages you or excites you to do your own research about the things that we're talking about, because when you find it out for yourself,
there you go.
It's so much better.
Yes.
Yes.
So while driving back, I don't know if you're able to do it, but you were trying to say, okay, what's a simple thing we can do for the summer health? I know we had talked about how quick you could do plantains, but I don't know if we're able to get that. But you got some good watermelon later.
I do. We've done the watermelon before. We did it in the blender. But then some people, dealing with texture and the frothiness. So then I was like, I don't think I've tried it, but we're going to go ahead and try it in the juicer, as the juicer has its own filtration system, and maybe it won't be as frothy.
Yes.
So we're going to go ahead and kind of take you with us. Okay. So, watermelon is already watery. So this really should be quite easy and simple. I'm going to try to put in there as many pieces as I can. And just watch your ears as this turns on. still looks pretty frothy.
Still look kind of what do you call it? What do they say?
Frothy.
Frothy?
Frothy.
Not Frosty the Soul Man.
Pretty frothy. But this is it. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't. Yeah, you would still have to strain it. So it was something we were trying to kind of experiment. So it still does come out a little frothy, but then that just means you have to go through extra strainer. What that means is that your juicer probably has, depending on the juicer, what kind of strainer it has. But you can see the juice.
You want to drink the broth, yeah.
And the froth on top. And sometimes you can just
spoon it off. Right?
Yeah. Let's see.
See if the water's heavier. Nope. That froth coming right down there.
All right. Sometimes it'll separate on its own. So less froth. Anyway, this is for people who have texture issue.
Yes.
This could be an alternative. But it looks like you still have to strain it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the other thing that you were going to show us?
Okay, so I wanted to say one more thing about still learning about watermelon is that we've learned we can use the whole watermelon now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So some people say you can grate the skin. I'll try to have that video up.
Mm-hmm.
Next week. It's a little
That's
long
right.
for us, but you can actually grate the skin of the watermelon and put it together. And, you can make something for your skin, or you can just, I'll have that. I just saw that in a recent video of some of the things. You don't have to waste the watermelon at all.
Right. And then you can also juice it.
Yes.
With the rind.
Yes, you can juice it with the rind. You need that rind to help deal with the elements in the body. So you got some soreness, then that's what you want to do. All right, so a couple of weeks ago at your parents' house.
Yes.
Man, it seems like so long ago over there. What do you have to do tomorrow already?
Oh yeah, I got to go back to work.
So teachers going back to work tomorrow. School's on. Caleb's about to go back. Everybody's going back to school. State of California, nobody's going to class, right? Or what is that, brick and mortar? Or you have to do, the teacher's going to teach from the class. What do you have to do? Anyway, what fun.
Yes.
So I've got orange juice. I'm putting a lime in here because this is going to be the best summer kind of makeup I'm doing here. This is all, as we're trying with that watermelon, this is all testing. This is all using the imagination. I want to give props and shout out now to the new recognition of Afro-Latino. That's what I want to say, because we've been watching videos all weekend. Yomarda's hair is like, she's just feeling out that negra side, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say nigga, I said negra side. That's right. Don't bleep me out, YouTube. Just trying to say, we watched a lot of that, and many of the power of the Caribbean places have been wrestling with what do we call ourselves and what are we really? And so the props to the Afro-Latinas stepping up. That's what we're saying. So what it is you can mix all kinds of things. That's what it is. That's what I'm really trying to say here. All right. So we throw a little Cuban. Normally that could be a little coconut. So I'm just doing almond. All right, just coconut. So what we've done, I got the little package. This is mango chunks. Mango. We're just making this thing real heavy mango, and I'm gonna add some blueberries to it. I'm gonna put the rest of that in there. So it's gonna be heavily with mango chunks. And what Yamato was doing earlier was
careful with the seeds in there.
They're in here.
Yeah, the mango seed is in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm taking these 3 small bananas. I'm glad she warned me because I was about to dump the whole.
Yeah, I thought you were.
And so there's a seed in here. Y'all help me.
You'll know.
That's not. Seed.
No, it'll feel like a rock.
Okay, that feels like a rock, I think. Anyway, the blender will let me know officially, right? So I'm taking all of this cut up. What kind of mango was this? Do you remember?
Well, depends on where you're from.
Yes, all right, all right.
Here,
Afro-Latinas.
here in the U.S., they call it the yellow mango. In some parts of the Caribbean, they call it a honey mango. Um, yeah, in Puerto Rico, we call it a honey mango too, just in
Yeah.
Spanish.
So all you want to do is, now this is the sophisticated way because we cut it up, right? Those of you who were barefoot and you did this, you didn't even, you just put your whole face in that thing and just let the juices run all over the skin and roll down, and you were in mango heaven. That's what I'm saying. I've seen this over in Jamaica. I'm just trying to say I've seen the sophisticated Panamanians try to do it. They come out and just dive on in it too, because this is blueberries. All right, so that's what I've got right there. I'm not going to put the watermelon in it. I'm going to add some water. You can talk to them about if they put up something about that. But this is a summer delight smoothie coming up, and I just thought we kind of try to add, to this to make it whatever you got in your kitchen.
Yes.
This is what you do.
Yes. So this is basically what this is. This is what we got in our kitchen and how you put it together. So just to recap, this has half a cup of orange juice, 1 lime squeezed into it, another half a cup of almond milk, probably half a cup of frozen mangoes. And in terms of fresh mangoes, it was 2 honey mangoes cut up. So that's on the fly. That's what this recipe is. Now, for those that are mango connoisseurs, you know that there are all different kinds of mangoes, all shapes, all sizes, all colors, and textures inside. So for me, the honey mango is one of my favorites because when you eat it, it's not hairy. So it doesn't necessarily stick to your teeth. It's pretty smooth, and it's
all right.
It's really sweet. But in Jamaica, I think they call it the East Indian mango. It's the bigger mango. That one is the bigger green one that has the red on it. And we see those in the grocery stores as well. That one is the one I call the hairy mango, although there are other mango varieties that are even hairier than that. So if you aren't a mango connoisseur, that's just a little tidbit of Mango 101. And then what is it that, what type of mango do you want to use in your smoothie? It really depends if you have issue with texture. So if you have issue with texture, you don't necessarily want to use the hairy mango, because then you'll be tasting the little hairs in your smoothie as well.
All right, so guess what? First time in a long time, we have no water up in this house.
Oh, wow.
That's why I just want to check for all the bottles. So I've got to get a little more.
You checked up in
the
cabinet?
Hold on, Science.
I mean, I know we drink water, but
This is.
I think he found the water.
Okay, so what it is the boys have moving towards 6 feet tall. So they hide it from the short man. They just put the thing way up in the sky, up in a cabinet. I'm on the ground trying to find my level of where water is, and they hid the water, but we found water. Hallelujah. I was about to say, first time we lost, because I didn't really want to put this apple juice in there.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how apple and mango go together. So thank God we got that on the side. This is a tribute to the, Afro-Latino love out there, all in our church family. I don't want to even name all them 33 countries that lady was talking about the other day, but it was all good stuff. Dr. Willie Davis is not, I believe he's not Latino, Afro-Cuban, Afro-Panamanian. I don't know, but I'm going to put some agave up in there, just so y'all don't tell him. The hypoglycemic people, you don't need that. And then we're going to stir this little, hold on a minute. Y'all can see that because this is going to be eaten by us. And this is the love for today. All right, you want to take a look at that? Show them that color. Look at that rich color, man. Is that not the beautiful color of the island, man? That's all I've got to say. If you want to switch out, which is probably better, coconut milk with the almond milk, it'll really give it the whole island breeze. Blueberries are in there as antioxidants to fight off some good stuff. But banana and the mango, the coconut hookup
Yes.
would all go well, and you'll have that awesome, love of the islands. Take you back to your roots. And when you drink this, take off your shoes and your socks.
Now, a good thing that was just put in the chat, and that is true. If you freeze a banana or use the banana when it's like really dark on the outside, a lot of times we're afraid to use the banana when the skin is dark on the outside. But it's okay. It's really, it just means it's really sweet and you can still use it. Yeah, if you freeze the banana and let it thaw out, it's very sweet and you won't need any juice
Right.
or
That's true.
sweetener.
That's the way.
Yes.
Thank you for that input. That is true. We won't need any of that. Any other questions, insights? Who says this about? Oh, that was Bert about New Mexico. Yes, that's true. Optimum Health. Remember when y'all went to there?
So the institute is
Watermelon
Optimum Health Institute in
Yeah,
San
San Diego.
Diego. And so they did a 6-day therapy where they used watermelon therapy
Yes.
for cleansing. And she says they juiced the watermelon with the skin and also ate everything raw. And watermelon is very cleansing. Yes. And you know what? I've tasted the watermelon juice with the rind in it.
Yes.
It makes it a little less sweet. And you might taste a little bitterness, but
it's good for you.
Well, what I was gonna say, it didn't bother me.
Yeah.
It wasn't something that was like pungent or or anything. It didn't bother me. It was actually pretty good.
It will cleanse your kidneys. I'm telling you, that rind is there for a purpose. It'll cleanse your kidneys. It'll do all that. Props again to Afro Latino. While we were at Yamada's house, her father hooked me up. I don't even know if I can access the book real quick, but he gave me a book. It was his book. And he said, I'm gonna give this to you. And man, I was in heaven. I've been in heaven ever since. It was the historic story of the Negro baseball leagues. And that book was, he paid a little penny for it.
Yes.
But he gave it to me. I was really thrilled about it as we talked some baseball and tried to go back to the old figures of the Kansas City Monarchs and some of the other ones. Found out, ladies, that there were a couple of black sisters who was so cool
in the Negro
who played
leagues.
Baseball in the Negro baseball leagues
Yeah.
while the war was going on and some of that stuff was
Yes.
going on.
Yes.
So
And
really,
for-
really good stuff.
Yeah, and for those that are Latin descent and might not know,
Yes.
The Latin players were only allowed to play in the Negro leagues. And whenever the Negro leagues traveled, a lot of times they would travel to the Caribbean and even down in Mexico. And you even had some Negro baseball players who were part of the Monterrey team. So it's rich history, and that we are more intertwined than what we think. So I see some questions here. So one of the questions is, what do you think about Beyond Meat?
Well, we sure were trying to Did we drive by one of the things today? Was it the Beyond Meat or the
Yes,
Impossible? I think it was the Beyond Meat.
No, it was Beyond Meat.
Yeah.
Well, we were picking up some food for the boys. They're always hungry.
Mhm.
And
Was it Carl?
it might have been Carl's
Yeah.
Jr. They had the thing about
For the breakfast.
the breakfast. So they have a Beyond breakfast biscuit thing
Yeah.
and a Beyond like breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
So, did you
Well,
wanna
we
say
we
something?
did try that for a little bit, and so some of it is you want to, because it's real heavy meat. It's good in its taste. I think they tried to get it to its original
Mhm.
taste if you're coming transitioning off of meat. Our suggestion would be go as light as you can on it to maybe crumble a little bit. If you make a patty, try not to make it too thick. It will suffice for the texture, the taste. Is just a matter of what you like when you're transitioning off of real meat. So they
Yeah.
say Beyond Meat, but just remember it's been engineered
Mhm.
for a purpose to try and get all of us to think that, oh yeah, this is good stuff because this remind me of back home and all of that. But it really is to help you transition. So just keep that in mind. It's good to dive into, but not live on.
Yes, and that thank you, and that's
Mhm.
what I was gonna say. It's a great transition. For those that are trying to transition off of meat, particularly red meat. Um, but it is processed, so it does go through a process. So yeah, like you said, you don't want to transition to the Beyond Meat and stay there. Hopefully, that's on the way to eating more plant based stuff. But I've said it before. When we first tried it, it was a little scary for me because I actually thought I was eating meat, and when you're cooking it, the red stuff is
Ooh, man.
oozing. I was
They hook
like,
it up for you now. They
I
hook
was
it
like,
up.
this really looks like blood. I mean, later on, I found out it's beet extract. So that's what makes it look that way. But it was still kind
Can
of,
beat.
I don't know, my mind
Yeah.
just couldn't get straight with that. Just
And if they
couldn't.
didn't mess up the beet, it really has the iron,
Yeah.
potassium to really replace what you may have lost if you are really fatigued.
Yes.
So beet juice is really good for that.
Yes.
But we don't know if you put it in a skillet.
Yes.
It'll
Right.
still maintain the health properties that you need.
Right.
Yes, socks get you closer to the ground. There's still a fine little line.
read the,
Go ahead.
the
So-
question.
Okay, yes. Does walking with socks on have the same benefits of walking barefoot? And it can go better than the shoe. I remember, Michelle, when you asked that question, I went right back to one of the fastest time I ever ran. In fact, I set the high school 100-yard, back then it was 100-yard dash running, because my brother and I, we from Compton, so we couldn't afford the track shoe. So instead of running in a tennis shoe, we took off our shoes and ran in our socks. And so while being timed at the academy, I set the academy record in running the 100-yard dash, but I ran in my socks. So, if you're running in socks back then, mama not gonna be too happy because the sock is not gonna be the same sock when you get home.
It might have some holes.
It's gonna have a hole in it. But barefoot is the best, even better than the sock. The thinner the sock, the better, because you really want to you want your feet to feel what the earth is doing. That's why the rocks can be tender. That's why, for a little bit, what they were studying with the Kenyan feet was to see where the calluses were, but yet the sensories were still working.
Right.
So your skin prepares for the earth and hardens enough, but you can still get the sensory effect. So that's why once you get that hardness, you can just go anywhere.
Yeah, and I think, and I like that. And I just to kind of piggyback on what you were saying, if you're trying the whole therapy in terms of a barefoot and rubbing your feet on the grass, you want to do that barefoot. However, as you were talking about, being barefoot or as close to barefoot also deals with your balance and rebalances you and strengthens your core, because the term is minimalist.
Yes.
So the closer you can get to being barefoot, now your feet have the sensories of the ground it's on. And it's amazing how your body works, because your feet have the sensory that sends it up to your body, and your body will adjust, kind of like shocks in a car.
Yes.
It will adjust to what to the information that the feet are sending it. So obviously the thicker the sole or the more cushiony, the less of that informed sensory you will get. However, that's not to X out people who you mentioned that, who are diabetic,
Right.
and because of the lack of sensory
Yes.
nerves, then definitely they have to do thicker soles, because they won't feel if they cut themselves, and then if they cut themselves, they're not able, because of their diabetic condition, they're not able to heal.
Right.
Yeah, and it can cause all kinds of infections and things. So yes.
So we just always want to encourage you to try that, just try that barefoot for a little bit.
Yes.
But the sock will protect you, and you'll still get some of that sensory, some of it.
Yes. Yes.
Which is good. We encourage it. The key is to get as less of a sole that's protected, keeping your feet from touching the ground.
So
I don't know how far I can lift it. Should I take it off?
yeah, just take it off. We at home.
It might be a little dirty.
We're at home. So
Let me
yeah,
see
go
if you
ahead.
can see the brand Merrill, right? That's the name of this shoe, and this Vibram is the okay. So this is the thinness of this shoe. You can see that. So this thinness right here allows me to feel the rocks in their shape. So we can be hiking, I'll go ouch, 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 because the rocks are still there. See how this bulls up. That's the kind of shoe you want right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of shoe you want. And your monitor will tell you. Somebody asked earlier if it's okay to walk on fake grass or fake turf. Now I'm gonna say that it's not like real grass, but the sensory sensation you will get from walking on the synthetic turf will
Mm-hmm.
actually bring some different kind of vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
So that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
She's watched me play a softball game on synthetic turf with this tennis shoe. So yes, it'll work. I'm actually running faster, balances out. So any questions on it?
Yeah.
This is about $85 off Amazon. Could be 85 to 100, depending.
And someone said that those look like water shoes.
Yes.
And yes,
that's what I was telling you earlier.
If you're wanting to get that barefoot experience, but your feet aren't like, okay, I'm ready to walk barefoot on stuff, and you can't afford an $85 shoe, definitely pick up a water shoe. Those definitely help. The reason for the price on these particular, I'll take mine off because mine is also a Merrill, a little different.
So this is the lady brand.
This is, well, yes,
Kinda,
and it's just a different brand. This one is not as flexible.
Still
It does have the Vibram sole. So this is for, people, if you're dealing with like arch support or whatever, but you still want to get more of a minimalist. But this one, so here's the difference. I think with yours, you can run.
Yes.
This one has more grip.
Yes.
So this one's more like a minimalist shoe for hiking.
Yeah.
Okay. So because of that, it's a little sturdier, but you can still bend it pretty good. Not as bendable as the one Anthony showed you guys, but this, and we've gone hiking, and I love, I kind of more prefer this.
Right.
I have hiking boots too. And hiking boots do have their place. But I love being as close to feeling like I don't have shoes on. And I will have to say that this one for hiking, I don't, well, I mean, I know I have a different sensory, but but rocks don't really bother me. But that's what I wanted to say. The Vibram sole. So this is why costs a little more than your typical water shoe is because this sole, from the study of the Tarahumaras, is basically like tire rubber. So it you know, it's sturdy, and it's really like how many mile, you know, how much mileage you put on it. It takes pretty good mileage on it. You know, like your tires. I don't know. I don't know. Tires typically, what is it, a 10,000 mile warranty?
It depends on, you know, Goodyear, Michelin.
Yeah.
You know,
So
whatever the shoe, whatever the tire company tells you.
Yeah,
you know.
right. Thank you. Thank you. But yeah, so Vibram Soul. So if you're interested in buying shoe wear, so that you can start getting more of the barefoot feeling, I promise you the investment, it's worth the investment, because the shoe does last.
Yes.
The terrain, or not the terrain, but the
Yes.
tread. There you
Yes.
go. The tread does last pretty good. And of course, it depends on how often you use them to walk or hike. Obviously, the
Right.
more mileage you put in.
An average shoe that you're preparing for running, jogging, getting ready for a marathon, every 500 miles, they suggest you switch the shoe out. And it doesn't mean the shoe is completely destroyed. It means that whatever the fibers in the shoe have broken down, and you may get foot injuries with certain brands of shoe. The minimalist shoe, that's what you want to Google, minimalist shoe, and or tennis shoe or whatever, running shoe, walking shoe, whatever, it's going to be designed that it's just going to be close enough to the earth. The material is going to be close enough to the earth. You determine when you want to switch the shoe out. I've told her I need another pair, but it's because I've had these for a while. In fact, it's funny when I say I've had these for a while. Honestly, I bought these pair since becoming pastor of the Wings of Love, Maranatha Ministry. So you can sort of gauge. That's over a year and a half now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I'm ready for a new pair, but it's still, I wear these all the time. And you can keep your other shoes for walking around and just doing that. But I will guarantee you, any kind of heel injury, any kind of Achilles injury, ankle injury, knees don't feel well, lower backs, hips, or whatever, hamstring, muscle soreness, whatever, buttocks are going crazy, take the shoe off.
Yes.
And walk around,
Yes.
hour or two in barefoot or whatever.
Right.
And you can do that pavement, grass, sand, whatever, but just get barefoot for a while.
Yes.
And you'll feel all of that starting to rebalance itself.
Yeah. And I've told this story before, I believe, but I found that out the hard way when I started training with you for the marathon. On Sabbath, I would be wearing like 6-inch heels. And, I felt like, you know what, I've been trained in heels. I can be in these heels all day. So, and I literally was that type of person. However, what was happening was that the next morning, on Sunday morning, we'd be out there at 6 in the morning. And then, eventually when it got up to wanting to run 5 to 10 miles, my feet would tell on me. They would tell that I was wearing heels like all day, and it would make for a horrible, horrible run. It was to the point where my feet was tired, like already by mile 2 or 3, and I still got like 7 more miles to run. So I realized that once I started wearing flats, I was like, because I grew up, it was enculturated in me that you're not graceful, if you don't wear heels, and so you want to look graceful and like a lady. That's how I was encultured. So I really had to, bite the bullet on that one and just be like, well, I hope my mom doesn't see me. I'm wearing flats to church, simply because I wanted to be able to do well on my long runs. And I'm telling you, it made such a big difference, to the point that I just started doing more research on it. And you were, sharing some stuff. that, I was like, wearing heels is really, jacking me up, my spine, just my health. And so this is not to tell people don't wear heels, but I know from my testimony, after that marathon, I thought I was gonna go back to wearing heels, and I tried, and it was tough. So I said, you know what? Yeah, I can't do the heels.
Okay. So now with all this good talking about walking, getting close to the earth, well, we have people on the line from all over the place, but we want to encourage you. I don't know. I'll kind of look at Oakland's COVID-19
Oh, yes.
updated,
Yes.
but we want you to come out and walk with us on maybe a Sunday morning.
Mhm.
And we can go back and get ready for the health thing and later on. But we just want to, if you're interested, we'll talk to you about your shoes or whatever. We're just trying to get a little taste. We're not going to do anything rough. We're not going to like make you walk across the country, do the whole pioneer kind of love thing up through the high mountains of the Sonomas or the Sierras. But we just want to take you on a walk so you get a feel of what you might want to feel like as you're walking, especially in the morning. We've done this in a church in LA, San Bernardino. We did it right after church in San Bernardino. Every fourth Sabbath, people brought their tennis shoes at church, and after we ate church, after the potluck, then we all hit the 2 miles, did 2 miles around the inner city, the west side of San Bernardino.
Yes.
That wasn't smart, but we were like Moses and the church walking through the hood, but we did it and inspired other people to do it. So all we're saying is we want you to get that feel. We believe, I mean, you'll check with your doctor, but we believe that the walking as well as the eating will help balance you and prepare you for the surge that's already really upon us. But we want you to be able to breathe deeply, clear the lungs, get the energy from the feet, electrify the spine, and prepare to fight any invader that comes in your system. That's what we're just saying. We're encouraging you to join us with that.
Yes, and just to put it out there, we'll definitely be practicing social distancing.
Yes.
So
bring your masks.
Bring your masks, and if you come in family, then you'll walk in your family group. We'll be distancing. But someone was asking, how early are we talking? We're saying be ready 8 a.m. at the place that we say we're going to start walking.
Yeah.
So I think 8 a.m. is we tried 7 a.m. When we started out in LA, and that was rough on a lot of people.
Negroes. Saturday nights.
On a Sunday morning.
Saturday night's rough. Potluck, skating, movies, popcorn.
Right.
They not getting up in those 6.
No.
They mean well, but they're not getting up. We was out there waiting, praying, having devotion, waiting for the people to get there. They finally got there, but it was a nice walk. So
So we found out that 8 o'clock.
We love y'all.
Yeah, the 8 o'clock seemed to be, and really in Southern Cal, and then if we were walking more in the inland portion of the bay, in Southern Cal by 8:30 it was already like really hot, or 9. So that was more of the reason of why we wanted to start early in the morning, so that you wouldn't be petered out. But we find that here in the Bay Area, the temperatures are pretty good.
A little cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So
that's why I wear my hat.
So 8. I think we'll be good to be able to. We average an hour whenever we first start out, and the hour is because we're not pushing anyone.
Right.
You go at your pace, and all we're looking for is that you're able to make the distance, and that you can say, hey, this wasn't bad, and I'm ready to do this again.
Because that's what we want. And it's time for fellowship, we talk about a lot of things. One walk early in the morning, everybody went back to some old movies that they have seen and was talking. But anyway, we get a chance to fellowship with you as pastor, first lady. We always like being amongst our people, kind of like Moses. We're gonna walk through the wilderness, but we're gonna talk some things over, get some things out. We generally sit around in a circle, pray a little bit. Sometimes when COVID-19 is, over, we actually after the hike or after the walk, we actually go out for breakfast. So we're just looking to build that fellowship in the season. You can ask more questions about health things, whatever helps on this, that, and the other. Will help you with the shoe style. If you want to try sandals, we won't do any like up terrain like that. We'll keep it safe.
Nothing steep.
Yeah, we'll keep it first for the first
few ones.
Yeah, so that way you can
build up.
We want y'all to be able to talk.
Yes,
when
exactly.
it's over. So
yes, so you can build up to it, and we want you to be excited and not be like, oh gosh, I'm never gonna go out there again.
Yeah, I remember the head deacon at the previous church. I don't believe this head deacon will succumb to this kind of issue. Isn't that right, Big E? All right. So anyway, the head deacon at the other church, he came walking out. Remember, we got to a point. I did my job. I said, I'm taking you to what was supposed to be a falls, but
it was a
trickle. Yeah, it was pitiful. Trickle, just bootleg stuff. But anyway, so I took him up there and I said, okay, look, this is where we turn around. This is it. I said, look, if you're trying to go up that way, that's going to be almost half the rest of the day. Oh, we can do that. I feel good. Okay. I warned the people who were smart went back. There was only like one or two people really went back that way. And then the rest of us spent the next 2 hours up over the beautiful view, overlooking the ocean when you get up there. If you're alive, you just get to look over the ocean, and man, it was beautiful up there. They came walking around, and by the time we got back to our cars, people's tongues were hanging out. People just didn't even want to talk, So I tried to warn y'all, and that was really only 5-6 miles.
Yeah.
Total, but it was the terrain going up, down. You don't really realize how much you have to work in that. So that's why we try to take you at a pace that we know, because we're kind of used to, we haven't done 10 miles in a while, but we're kind of used to, going that 10 miles, knowing when to rest. Right. Get a bite, bring something to drink, bring a canister of water. We'll tell you all about that. Just let us know if you're ready, though. We want all of you on here to come and enjoy the fellowship, the blue sky, the love of the earth. We promise we won't have you chanting at trees or nothing like that. We just love the redwoods up here. This is so beautiful up here. Even my own daughter-in-law, married to my son down there in LA, where they both down there, was trying to. One of my grandchildren had a birthday end of July. But anyway, they were trying to camp last weekend, and they wanted to camp in the sequoias. But she's I don't know what kind of nurse she is. She RN down there somewhere, and COVID hit surge, so she had to be there for that. And so we canceled that camping trip. But what I'm saying is the love of the outdoors. We love our church to go camping. We just love these kind of things. And so we want to encourage you to get your mind ready and be ready for that kind of thing. So walking outdoors is the first thing. You want to bring your shoes. If you want to go through a stretch barefoot, that'd be cool too. But bring your shoes, because I can't carry nobody back to the car. Hallelujah, somebody.
Yes. So if you are interested, I've already seen a few people put in the chat that they are interested. And, feel free to share with other family members that maybe aren't on, but are in the area, and it would be something that they would like to do. Please let them know. And
we take them all ages. We've had young people, teenagers. I forgot our youngest walker, but we've had them all ages.
Yes.
And I mean all ages. Your mother's mama, what was she, in her mid-70s, still kind of creeping up to that?
Yeah.
Walked Griffith Park, which was straight up almost.
Yeah, to the observatory. For those of you that have been to or are familiar with Southern Cal Griffith Park, that's a steep walk up to the observatory. But
she did well. Yeah. She did well, and that was Caleb and his little cousins that are probably between 3 and
Yeah,
10.
yeah.
So
It's
they
not,
did
for us, it's not a marathon.
Right.
It's not a race. It's not about showing off and
Right.
seeing what you can do. It's about, being in the moment, experiencing what's around you, and letting God do the healing work and the healing process that He's designed out in nature.
Look, and I have found this, that we used to think that Black people don't do this kind of stuff. I'm just trying to tell y'all, but we out there. We out there. There was a 78-year-old man that passed us. I walk this every day. So what I'm saying is we got it. And me just being in Panama, Berta, you remember if Guillermo's on this line, we went running every morning, 6 a.m. in Panama. It felt good out there. That tropical weather was hitting. We ran around this bay. Man, I'm still in heaven from that morning jog, over there in Panama. I used to have one of them kind of smart watches or whatever, and I was wearing it. And
the
running.
Fitbit before the Fitbit.
Yeah, the Fitbit was a Garmin at the time, and it asked me right on the watch, "Where in the world are you?" So I'm in Panama. I had to program it and kind of redid it. Have me set my time in Panama. So that was good. Over in Jamaica, we saw older people walking the hills, the Blue Hills, walking to church. I mean, going back home, walking at night, climbing hills. I was so sorely impressed. So what I'm trying to say is, when we get to the city, we start doing the opposite. Yeah. So I just want to encourage you, let's get back out.
Yes, for the city. And for those, I can speak of immigrants.
Yes.
That's what you're used to in your country.
Yes,
but then when we come over here to the US, which tends to be a little more sedentary, unless you live like in New York or, something like that, then you're like, oh, the way I used to live back in my country, we were so poor. The way we lived was camping. What do you mean camping? That's how I lived. I don't want to camp anymore. I don't want to walk. We get away from all that.
And we mall walk. We intend to walk the 2 miles in the mall, but we stop at the window. We pretzels got us calling, the Cinnabon calls us. We mean well, but that's why we try and get you in nature where you and I won't say that. I started to say you and the bear won't have to fight over the same thing. Ain't no bears where we walk. Just encouraging you. All right, good folks. And then another question. This was good.
Yes, this was great. Thank you for those that are putting in the chat that you would be interested in joining us on a hike. Again, we just want to say, don't be intimidated. If you have like knee issues or joint issues and you're like, no, I can't walk. Look, we aren't pushing anybody to do any long walks. We are just saying, hey, come out in nature, walk for as much as you can. There's no shame in you saying, all right, I'm good. And I'll meet you guys back at
the
car.
Tap out.
It's all right. There's no shame in that. But really to go out there and really do that is the big battle. And if you're dealing with depression, if you're dealing with any type of autoimmune disease, cancer, whatever it is, oh my goodness, being out in nature and just taking a walk in the fresh air can just do wonders for those things.
This was great. We got to say happy birthday to Joy. I don't know if she's not on the line, but she's made two numbers.
That's right.
She can put 10. A 1 and a 0 there.
Yes.
Happy birthday, Joy. Just somebody pass the love over to Joy. We love her. We hope she's coming on the walk.
Yes, we hope her and Jay and
we want them all.
Asha, that'd be great.
Yeah. We love y'all. Take care. Bye. Next Sunday.
And those of you that said that you are interested, we will post, and we'll also get in touch with you and let you know when. It'll be a Sunday morning. We'll let you know when and where, so that we can go ahead and get this started. I'm excited. You excited?
I'm excited. Props to Guillermo. He's like in his 70s, and Berta, in their 60s. They walk every morning. I don't know if they still do it every morning, but they walk used to be like 4, 5 in the morning. I don't know what time y'all walk, but they get that walk in. And they've been inspiring to me. We've inspired them, and we just love that. We just encourage people to get that walk in.
Yes.
And they're retired individuals. They still do it Praise God.
All right. So, like usual, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome, Joy.
We really enjoy you guys being here. It is like a family. The village, we have made the village. Please invite more people to the village that you think that could benefit from this. We're just trying to take the village on to the next level and get you guys out there walking. And hopefully whenever this COVID and stay in place has lifted, we'll actually be able to do health potlucks where we'll be able to, those that are close together, we will be able to come together, and still those of you that are join us virtually, you'll be able to join us virtually as well. There's so many things that we want to do, and we've been able to do it because of your generosity. So
Yes.
if you've given to Cash App at Vibrant Village, that's great. Please remember that if you're able to, you can go ahead and donate so that more of these things are possible. And if you're not able to donate, all we ask is that on social media, whether it's Instagram, Vibrant Village Inc., or it's on Facebook, we have a page called the Vibrant Village. Anytime you see a post of ours, feel free to share on your page. Also on our YouTube channel, we are live, and so therefore you're always able to go to Vibrant Village YouTube channel to see past episodes. And if you were really blessed by this and you know people that weren't able to come on, just go on over to our YouTube channel, Vibrant Village, and share it with them. Okay, make these things go viral, as they say. This is about educating our people to be the best selves that they can be.
Yes. Thank you all, man. We love you all. Take care. We'll be back in touch. Good to get back in touch. Good to be back in California.
Amen.
In Oakland.
It is good.
Yay, Joy. Congratulations. You big time. You catching up with the pastors. Catching up with the pastors.
Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome.
All right, guys. We love you. Good night.